Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Here we are once again reviewing Black Butler Volume 4 as a Puerto Rican. As always, remember that this video may potentially have some spoilers, so just proceed with carefulness if you don't want to know anything about spoilers, and feel free to check my previous videos on this series. For volume today, we're gonna be reviewing volume 4. I will say that this volume was a little bit hard to review. It's definitely a little bit different from the other volumes that we have reviewed in terms of like, I don't feel like too much necessary happening in this volume, but it's not the same as the first volume and where not too much happened, but we're still getting to know the characters and then the other things happen in it just due to the nature of being like the first volume. So I guess I'm gonna be presenting some of the pictures that like cracked me up while I was reading this volume. I do have to say this one is a very funny volume for sure. So some of the characters that we get to see in this volume are actually Soma and Agni, which they actually get introduced at the end of the previous volume. Like I think it's literally the last page in the previous volume. And some of the other people that we get to see are part of the Scotland Yard, which are Aberline and Lord Randall. And lastly, our new character introduced in here will be Rama, which I think she works for Lau or associated with Lau. Not exactly sure what is her specific relation with Lau. There's not too many like little hidden secret in this volume. Some of the things that I was able to find out that were interested for this particular volume is that like we know the name Phantom Hive as being the name of the family of Phantom Hive, but apparently they do mention that Phantom Hive is pretty much like an agency. So that was created by the Queen of England. So does the Phantom Hive are called the Phantom Hive due to just the name of the agency, or did they name the agency the Phantom Hive due to the last name of the Phantom Hive? Something that I have never particularly noticed before, to be very honest. So yeah, now I'm a little bit more curious about like how the whole Phantom Hive started. I mean, like we know that the people behind the agency, I mean, like are real people, but like how all of this started. Also, was this founded like by the Queen Victoria, or this is something that has been running around on royalty for a very long time? There's a picture in where they're talking about like the Phantom Hive and stuff like that. We have these two characters, Randa and Aberline from the Scotland Yard, and then Aberline is a new member of Scotland Yard, and Randall is explaining Aberline what Seal Phantom Hive is, like who he is, because he, as always, you know, is investigating a case and all of that, and he just walked into it just to, you know, do his investigation and all of that. And Aberline is very confused about what like this very young kid is just kind of like walking into like a crime scene, and then so Randall proceeds to explain that the Phantom Hive are an agency, and then there's this image in where they show CL, and then they show like a lot of other like previous Phantom Hive head. And I mean, to be very honest, I know this is an agency created by the royal people, but I always thought it was more like the Queen Victoria created the agency. But I guess thinking about now, just being around for a while, just wanted to point out that. Now, I'm going to present this panel. This is like the first panel as soon as you open the volume. It is Bardo like just making snowballs, but for some reason he just decided to put stone inside them. I don't know who is gonna be involved in this snowball fight with Bardo, but hopefully they don't get too badly injured. Hopefully is Sebastian, and you know everything is alright, because Sebastian can just like, that's a very easy thing to avoid. But I really just would not like to get involved in this snowball fight with Bardo. I think we have seen some chibis in the story before. Like Tanaka usually is on his chibi form. We get to see him later down in like a regular form. Oh, actually, I do think, now that I think about it, he does get introduced in his human form. in this volume. But he's usually hanging out on his chibi form. In this volume, we get to see some other characters in the chibi form besides Tanaka. I think all the servants we have seen actually their chibi form until now, but we haven't never seen like Sebastian or Cielo chibi form, which I really like their chibi form. It is so funny, and we actually get to enjoy it for a couple volumes before things get a little to be more serious, and I don't think we get to see them in their true form as much, which it's a little bit upsetting, I have to say, because I do really like their chibi form. I have no idea why CL is bald on his chibi form. I still like his chibi form, but no idea what's going on with like being bald. He still just have like one single hair like right on top of his head, and his eye patch, which is the reason why we can recognize him. Sebastian just pretty much looks like Sebastian. There's not too much of a difference in there, but yes, Yana presented a CL with some amount of baldness. Another thing that I really got to enjoy in this volume is that we can see CL reviewing the new toys for the Phantom Company, and we get to see one of the little bunnies. He does look so cute in this particular scene, hugging the little bunny, and I am so happy for him because we're just seeing like, you know, a part of CL that we really don't get to see too often. He's just being a kid. And it's just so adorable being able just to see him like relaxing and just, you know, being a kid, not having to worry about like complicated matters, vengeance, all the things that we see him through the series. We get to see a couple more fragments of the tragedy in this volume, and as we can see, we get a little bit of a time frame for how long was CL and his sibling in this trap in this area. He does mention that it's been one long month, so they were going through that for a while. Beside that, I think we actually get to see the actual CL in here for the first time. It's like a very brief scene, but we can see the scene in where he's in the table laying down and he gets stabbed. So I guess I'm counting this as officially the first time that we see the actual CL being presented in the manga. There is, technically speaking, not really a way to confirm that he is the one just based on the facial features, because we're not really seeing what's going on with his face in this particular scene, but based on the fact that we know that the actual real CL is the one that ended up getting sacrificed, and we are assuming this is indeed the real CL. Oh, another scene that I wanted to present is that in here we get to see the iconic like black leather high heel boot from Ordiba Sebastian in him for the first time. I'm assuming this is like the form that he just enjoyed to be when he is not Sebastian Michaelis. Like, I know we've seen like a lot of different forms for Sebastian at this point. He's being drawn and redrawn and all of that in a lot of different scenes, but I feel like everyone definitely remembered the iconic high heel boot for Sebastian. In here we get to see one of my favorite Sebastian poses from the whole series. I mean, we get to see again because we already seen one previously that I presented, but it's the Sebastian hanging from the ceiling. I have decided to nickname him the Sebastian. I think we actually get to see him like one or twice again during the series, so gonna be watching out for that. Ooh, another iconic scene that we get to see in this volume is Sebastian wearing the deer head when he has to rescue Soma from doing something silly. Very realistic deer, by the way. If I have to rate this specific image, I think I would give it a 10 out of 10. I don't think we discovered too much in detail besides what we know from the tragedy on this volume, but as I mentioned, we get to see a couple more images due to pretty much in short words, CL is calling Soma a little bit of a brat because he just doesn't understand what the real world is, and then due to that triggers a little bit of a flashback showing us what CL mean by, you know, Soma just being a brat and not understanding what happened to people out, and life is not as easy as Soma think it is. I do think, while obviously CL have gone to a lot more trauma in his life, I just don't think it's so particularly like fair to not acknowledge the feelings of how Soma feel in this situation. He have never had to particularly go through this in his life, and just because their situations are different, and I guess one of them has suffered more than the other, I don't think it's fair to invalidate Soma's feeling, because he still should be allowed to feel whatever feelings he think he need to feel. All of this is new for him, so he's just learning a lot of things in here. Currently in this volume, we are seeing a Selma that is a little bit more immature, and thanks to CL's guidance, he gets to be a more mature person, and definitely we can see him a couple more times down the road in the story, just being Selma, but also just learning and growing and all of that during the story. So the time for the rating has finally arrived. And let's start as always with cover/book design. This is the design for the book number 4. I am gonna be giving this cover an 8. And I don't know if I really need to say too much about this cover and why am I rating it with an 8. Everyone that is a fan of Sebastian will totally understand why this is getting 8 for the rating. Now, for the art style, I feel a little bit conflicted about what to give for the art style. Because, well, obviously, I do feel like the art style like constantly improve with each volume that we get to see on the story. I just don't think that the improvement is like so radically just to like receive a higher rating than other previous volume. I did ended up giving this one a 6 out of 10 because I do not think that the art style it is worse than any of the other previous volumes. So obviously I don't feel comfortable giving it a lower than a 6. But as I was saying, I don't think the art style dramatically improving here just to have a higher than a 6. Yes, again, as like previous volumes, we do have some scenes that have a lot more detail, and then, you know, they want to show specific things, so I'm assuming they work a little bit longer in there to be able to like show and portray the things that they wanted to show. But unfortunately, I don't think this is still higher than a 6, just because like I just don't think we have gotten there yet. I know what things Black Butler have to offer, and maybe I just feel like I'm being a little bit strict with Black Butler, but I know there's so much out there to offer that I just feel like when we finally are able to get to those volumes with like the very big amount of improvement, if I give this current volume a higher rating, it will be hard to give a better rating to those volumes that deserve the higher rating, due to just giving the rating to this volume that it is not as comparable with other volumes in this series. For personal investment for this volume, I will give it a 5 out of 10. As I said, there is not too much of the story really going on for this volume. We get, as I mentioned, introduced to Agni and Soma, which they're definitely gonna be part of the recurring characters in the story, and I feel like they are doing a little bit more for the story in some of the next volumes. Right now in here, there's just not too much going on with them. Yeah, it was a very funny volume, I would say, but besides being funny, there was not too much like structural plot for it. I don't know how the servant for the manor happened to be more and more silly with each volume. I just don't know how is that even humanly possible. But we have this scene in where Sebastian is more like insulting them, but somehow they just didn't hear that as an insult, which I guess I'm glad. I'm glad that they just didn't thought that was an insult. But Sebastian pretty much being like, you should beg for the dirt under Agni's nail was like a very clear way to just be like, the dirt under Agni's nails is better servant than you guys. And they're just immediately like, on top of like Agni and like just trying to actually grab the dirt under it. I don't know. This was like a very like silly, weird, crazy scene. It was very funny when I read it. I just don't know what's going on with the servants. Never. I don't think if anyone actually know ever what is going on with the servants. For characterization, I give it a 7 out of 10. I do definitely think the way that the characters interact in this particular volume, it is very nice. I think have all of the characters interacting with each other for the most part. We just have the whole like gig going on with like the servants for the manor and Agni, and a little bit, I guess, of like who is a better servant kind of thing. Like it's not too serious, it's more like a jokey thing. I definitely have to say, just seeing more of interaction of the manor servant is always fun to read. I don't know how they're managed to always just like be the way they are, useless, but actually in this one they were not as useless. I don't know how Agni did it, but somehow he was able to turn these very not useful characters in the story into actually very nice contributors to the household manor. They were like working so nice, nothing really exploded, nothing really died, nothing really broke. I feel like Sebastian needs to ask Agni for some tips and apply them for sure. For the eventfulness of this volume, I will give it a 5 out of 10. Pretty much the same rating that I give it for personal investment. As I already mentioned, not too much happening in the volume, so yeah, I'm not sure if I have anything else to add. I think I've like talked pretty generally about everything that just happened in the volume and what didn't happen and stuff like that. So I just don't know if I have anything else to add to this category at this point, I guess. Yeah, so before we give the total, as always, I'm gonna be talking about my favorite panel. My favorite panel for this volume, it is this one here. We have Agni in this panel, and as always, I feel like Yana always tried to put a lot of effort in and be very careful about how she presents the double panel scenes. She always puts so much care into it, so much detail. Like the image always also had a lot of contrast, which also helps making the image pop a little bit more. Something that I noticed from like when she do the double panels is that usually I think she keeps like most of the background white, and then she just like draw the character to create more of an impact, because the character usually have like a lot of black in it. I mean, obviously it's a black and gray manga, so having a lot of white in the background will help with the contrast of all the black that the characters have in it. And yeah, I have to say, I feel like for Agni and Soma, Yana have always put a very big effort to make sure this character look always impeccable. If I have to choose characters that I feel like you could just grab any volume and they were always gonna look sharp, definitely Agni and Soma are some of those characters that are always gonna be so on point. I mean, like, Soma's clothes have so much detail in it. Like, all the different kind of like accessories and things that he have are always so in detail and so on point. Well, now that we have gone through all the categories, the time for the total has come. And the total for this volume will be 31 out of 50. Well, I just hope that everyone enjoyed the video, and see you next time.